In the world of offshore racing, few yachts have a story as dramatic as this one. A super maxi built to be the fastest on the planet, but destined to fight through adversity before achieving greatness.
LawConnect is over the line.
It all began in 2008 when the yacht was designed and launched in Auckland, New Zealand under a veil of secrecy. She was named Speedboat, and true to her name, she dominated her maiden race, winning the Newport to Bermuda ocean race of 605 miles. But fate intervened. The global financial crisis struck, leaving Speedboat mothballed until a new owner emerged.
It was actually a bit of a shock when it got launched because I was living in the Canary Islands and we were part of the Ericsson team, and we had two 1K design boats racing over there. And when that boat came out, I saw it in a magazine. It was like, wow, this looks like one of ours. And it was. It was
a 1K design.
Yes, a 1K design. So it looked like it was just a stretched 70. It was like someone had just, blowing it up on the printer. So yeah, and so it was a pretty cool boat. Pretty complicated. It had a lot of systems on it that aren't on it anymore, and yeah, it had a bit of a checkered history, I think.
That same year, Sir Richard Branson bought the yacht and rebranded her Virgin Money, hoping to set a transatlantic speed record. With Olympic sailing legend Ben Ainslie aboard, they pushed hard, but the ocean had other plans. Towering seas forced them to abandon the attempt, and the yacht once again changed hands. US tech mogul George David took ownership next, renaming her Rambler 100 and entering the famous 2011 Fastnet race. But tragedy struck again. Her keel snapped and the yacht capsized in the freezing Atlantic.
They were so lucky that that it happened at the time of day that it happened. They were very lucky. I think there would have been a totally different scenario outcome for a lot of people if it had happened 6 hours later.
David and his partner Wendy spent 2 terrifying hours in the water before being rescued. Rambler 100 was destined for the scrapyard. But she was saved by Australian celebrity accountant Anthony Bell. He rebuilt the yacht, christening her Perpetual Loyal.
When the boat got rebuilt for Anthony Bell, that was a new mast then, and it was a new keel. Basically, the boat was rebuilt when it became Loyal, so it was a full birthday, so new keel, mast, electronics, the whole lot.
Packing her crew with sporting stars, including Michael Clarke, the cricketer, and rugby international Phil Waugh, Loyal stormed to victory in the 2011 Sydney to Hobart, winning line honours by just 3 minutes. In 2016, Bell's Loyal returned, smashing the race record.
Perpetual Loyal stormed up the Derwent River to claim an almighty victory. Super Maxi taking line honours in an unprecedented time of 1 day, 13 hours, 31 minutes and 20 seconds.
In 2017, the Super Maxi found a new home. Entrepreneur Christian Beck took the helm, renaming her InfoTrack.
I think like most people in Australia growing up, I would every year watch the start of the Sydney Hobart, I'd watch the Bathurst car race and I'd watch the Melbourne Cup. And I always wanted to be involved in one of those events, and I think the only one I really had a chance of being involved in was the Sydney Hobart, and I think that I always wanted to do it. And I was sort of doing a little bit of twilight sailing, and I decided I wanted to buy a boat for Sydney Hobart, and I was looking around for a TP52 or something like that. And basically the boat broker presented what was called Perpetual Loyal to me, the boat, and it wasn't any more expensive than a good TP52 at the time, so I thought I would buy that. I didn't realise how huge the maintenance costs and operation costs or any of that would be, but I decided to have a go at the race on that.
And once you have the boat, the size of it shocked you with the number of people, the organisation required, or were you aware that that could be a big issue?
Oh, look, it did shock me. Like, I had no idea about how big a team you needed and how skilled those people had to be and how perhaps dangerous it was if you did it badly and all that. I was quite naive. But I learned, I sort of got thrown into it because I only bought it a few months before Hobart, and then we put together a team to do the race, and we made quite a few mistakes, but we got there, and we wasn't that bad a result.
Where did you start to get the crew? How did you organise that? Did you have good lieutenants to help you, or did you just dive in and do it yourself?
Well, what I was lucky about with that boat is that it kind of came with a team somewhat. So the year before, they'd won it with Joe Akitich, and he sort of ran the program, and he rang me shortly after I bought it, and which was great, and he helped me through it. And the year before, when it won, it had Tony Mutter in it and various crew, but unfortunately Tony wasn't available that year because he was doing a round the world race.
So I'd already raced on the boat when it was Perpetual Loyal through Joe, and someone had recommended me to him, and then we met in 2013 when the boat was getting its refit in Auckland. And so then I raced the boat in 2013.
Christian didn't name it then,
No,
did he?
that was named by
Bell.
Anthony Bell. So I raced the boat in 2013. Then I was Comanche 2014 and 2015, and then again, Anthony rang me up again and got me back on 2016 and we got the record that year, yeah. And then I went away and did the Volvo, so I missed 2018. I was racing my last Volvo, and around the world race. We were actually in Melbourne, I think, at the time. I watched the race on the track. It was quite cool, yeah. And then again, Joe rang me up and said, "Look, can you come back? The boat's got a new owner. They need help. Are you keen?" So I said, "Yeah, sure."
Had you met Christian before?
No, I hadn't. But I did fly to Sydney and meet him, and we had a bit of a chat, and it was interesting. He set out what he wanted to do, and he actually gave us a plan right through to 2026. So I still remember it.
Did he ask you then to run the program for you?
No, then it was Joe Akitich was running the program, and then I was basically there. My role was to be sailing master and come up with a crew. Yeah, but Joe did all the day-to-day stuff. Yeah. So
then you went far and wide looking for good guys, I guess, because you knew that style of boat needs good guys.
Yeah. So in 2016 we had a very good crew, and because when you're doing the Hobart and the boat's doing so little sailing throughout the year, you got people. It's like a project. You have to have people have to fill the role and do the role and be good from day one. So you can't. So getting the crew, it was basically just me picking people that I knew that were really good in their roles and would fit into a team.
One thing Christian Beck and previous owner Anthony Bell had in common was their willingness to bring rookies on board to sail the Hobart, a once-in-a-lifetime experience for most. While Bell brought celebrities along, Beck preferred to bring along some of his employees.
Well, we offer them to do twilight sailing, which a lot of them do, and we offer some of them to go onto the Supermaxi to the Sydney Hobart. We've had about 4 employees every year. We've done it 7 times, so we've had quite a few people do that.
And they're non-sailors that jump on a Max and go to Hobart, basically.
Pretty much. Some of them might have done a little bit of sailing, but some of them have never even been outside
the heads.
That's right.
Well, I was actually already used to it because Anthony Bell used to bring on all the celebrities, and so they were, and that was quite a group as well. So that had always kind of been happening on the boat. So when Christian came up and said, "We're going to take employees," it was okay, that's fine. We're used to that.
And a boat that size, you can virtually carry them, can't you?
Yeah, I mean you can, yeah. But I mean that boat is a little bit overweight, so I'm always trying to get weight out of it. And one of the ways we get weight out of it is by having the really good crew. So our racing crew is actually only 16, and we're more than happy to race 16.
That's minimal, isn't it, for a big boat like that?
Yeah. Well, you can have as long as they're all good guys, or a good crew, it's no problem.
In 2017, under the name InfoTrack, the Supermaxi sailed fast, reaching Hobart in 4th position, but her former record was broken by line honours winner LDV Comanche, who would become Beck's biggest rival.
Were you involved with Comanche in the early days?
Yeah, so we had a group. I sailed with Kenny Reid, and we were racing Puma around the world. And we knew the owner, this guy. He wanted to do a project, and he wanted to do a 100-footer. And we worked with the French designers right from day one with a blank sheet of paper. And the conversation was, what do you want, and what is it going to do, and all that sort of thing. So right from day one on that boat. So there's a lot of things on that.
So the first Hobart the boat did was 2014?
14, yeah.
And you were on board then
Yeah.
with Kenny Reid?
Yeah, so the boat hadn't been sailing for that long before that, probably only 6 months, and then part of that was lost because they had to ship the boat from the US down to Australia. But we had sailed it from down the east coast of the US and had a couple of good training runs with it, and so we kind of knew we had it all set up ready to go, but it wasn't, all the systems worked and everything worked, but it wasn't what we'd call optimised.
No, but it certainly was a weapon, and it became a weapon, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was really fast. I mean, the boat was designed to do Atlantic crossing, get the record, and it's designed to do 130 true wind angle and 21 to 35 knots of wind and go at light speed, and it's done that.
InfoTrack would go on to sail the next two Hobarts, coming fourth in 2018 and second in 2019.
It wasn't the ideal team that we have today, but we got there. We came inside the record, but we were fourth. There's 4 boats inside the record. The fourth one, we broke quite a few things, and then we forgot to put our form in on time, and then we got the biggest penalty in the history of the city in Hobart, a 20 pace penalty. So it's kind of a mixed result. What I found that first year is it cost me a lot more, but it was a lot more fun to be involved than I ever dreamed possible, and also the exposure for the business and the staff members involved were very good, so I was very happy to go again.
In 2021, Beck rebranded her once more.
What is LawConnect? How did that come about?
Well, what LawConnect predominantly does is it uses AI to give legal information and connect people to lawyers to help them with legal problems. Because a lot of people, when you have a legal problem, it's really hard to often answer basic questions, and it's also very hard to find the right lawyer experienced in the area of law that you have that's willing to take on your case, etc. And LawConnect solves all those problems in a very succinct, clear way. We're very excited about it because it dramatically improves the access to the law. Because most people around the world that have a legal problem can't find or afford a good lawyer to help them. And LawConnect goes a long way to bridging that gap.
The Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race, one of the greatest challenges in ocean racing. 3 100-foot maxis led the charge for Lion Honours and the coveted prizes awarded to the victor.
With a fresh name, LawConnect, she took on the Sydney Hobart again, finishing with consecutive bridesmaid Lion Honours results in 2021 and 2022.
We had those years of coming second, and in some ways it was good because I think realistically we were beating a lot of boats that we shouldn't necessarily have beaten because our boat wasn't great. And in some ways it was bad because it took a lot of effort, and to keep coming second was frustrating. And I remember Tony Mutter and some of the pros getting very sick of coming second. So, and me too, I suppose. So we always dreamed to win it. We just couldn't quite figure out how to do it.
I don't quite remember what year, but there was one of those bridesmaids years that we'd won everything leading into it, and we were the best prepped and in really good form, and we didn't win it. Like Blackjack beat us. We had, we had water in our nav station and the computers crashed, and maybe a bit of an excuse, but we didn't win a race that we really should have. And out of the 3 bridesmaids ones, some of them you can handle. This one was a hard one because it's like, this is the time there. We didn't have, Comanche wasn't there, this is the one, we didn't do it.
Yeah, that was tough. I know Christian wasn't that happy with it, and I did joke with him one time, and I don't think he ever saw the humour. I think after the third one I said, maybe we should paint this boat silver. I don't think he saw the humour in it.
At least it wasn't bronze.
No, exactly. But I think we got even. We had 3 seconds, but the last second place in 2022, I think it was actually a pretty good result for us. I thought we sailed really well. We had a lot of the new prod and that sort of thing, and we sort of proved that we can make the boat go downwind and lighter air, fast against wild oats and blackjack, and we managed to hold them off on a run where we thought that in the past we would have had problems.
We've modified the boat so much over the years. I've spoken about it before. I don't know how much more we can do other than the keel or some bigger work now. We've got the biggest bowsprit in the world, and people talk about. We've cut the interior out. We've got weight out of the boat. So the boat has evolved, and if you don't keep evolving, then you will get left behind.
From speedboat to LawConnect, this Super Maxi has been reborn time and time again. Each name carrying its own chapter in an incredible legacy. And through triumph, tragedy and transformation, she continued to race, going on to fulfil her destiny by winning line honours in the Rolex Sydney Hobart race twice, back to back.